because Boston has entered the chat. That was epic. Travis Thomas here, George Balekji here inside the PNC Bank studio. That was an epic intro right
You know, I'm a fourth grade trumpet dropout. When they do the tryouts in elementary school, I was the only one that can like make noise happen, right? And then they were like, but you have to read notes and your fingers have to align, like your brain, and you have to be in sync. And I was like, I'm not doing this.
I was all in on trumpet, and then I got braces, and it hurt to play. I had braces top and bottom, full-blown brace face, and I was not the same trumpet player. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to put this thing down and pick up this here round ball and become a basketball star. And the rest was history.
Your knees gave out by seventh grade.
All my CLs gone. Should have stuck with the trumpet, bro.
Hey, it's good to be back, man. It's been a minute. I was in Stowe. You were in Maryland.
Yeah. It's good to be back with you, man.
Long drive to Maryland and back to Boston.
Actually, you win. Stowe, Maryland.
Yes.
Yeah, you get that.
No offense.
Offense taken, and you still win.
You could have went to Jersey and I'd say Stowe's better.
You want to hear a funny Jersey story?
Yeah, well, you had to drive through it, right?
Every time I go home back to Maryland, I have to drive through your great state of Jersey.
Would you stop in AC?
I stopped in a town called Leona.
Yep.
Leonia. It was like Leonia.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It's like halfway between where I go in Maryland and here.
Yeah.
So I often stop in that town and just do stuff for the kids. So this time we went to like a playground, right? But we on the journey, my friend, my son says, "Oh, we're not in Jersey anymore, Dad." And I say, "Well, are you asking me or are you telling me?" Because it's kind of a weird thing to say, right? He goes, "No, I'm telling you." I said, "Okay, well, how do you know?" Because he was right. We were actually in Mass when he said it. We were pretty close to home.
Okay.
And I said, "How do you know?" So I'm thinking he recognized something along the way.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, because I know we're not in Jersey because Jersey stinks." I was like, "Whoa."
He's talking like the trash smell when you're on the turnpike.
Yeah. And I go, "Well, yes, Jersey does not smell pleasant when
At
you go
certain points.
Yeah, it's like East Rutherford. Like
yes,
that
there's a
doesn't smell
turnpike.
good.
There's Meadowlands, the marshes.
But I was like, Jersey's great. You remember Mr. George? That's where he's from. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I go, "You like Mr. George?" "Yeah." I said, "You like Jersey?" "Yeah." I said, "Okay, cool." He goes, "But it stinks." Great.
How old's your son?
7.
Is it illegal for me to beat up a 7-year-old?
I listen. I'm not going to press charges.
Okay.
Like if at some point, like the kid's got to learn. So,
look, but
he's not lying though.
But the key thing is, you said it was when we got to Massachusetts. So clearly, Connecticut smells.
Oh,
Connecticut
that's a good
sucks.
point.
Connecticut sucks.
He didn't say it till we got into Mass.
See?
So perhaps the Jersey stench has carried over into Connecticut.
I need to go speak to your son. I got to ask him some questions. You want to press charges? Cool. That's it. That's all I need.
Hey, that's it. All right. Well, listen, if you want to get involved here, maybe tell us how Jersey smells bad. 617-790-0928. You don't have to, but it's available to you on the Boston Has Entered the Chat hotline. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. But let's begin like we always do, my friend, with what's trending. What caught our eye? And George, I am so disappointed in thyself because I did not pre-order College Football 25. And what had happened was the people who are already playing this game. One of my friends, dear friend of mine, is already playing it and sending me all kinds of screenshots of recruits. He's recruiting and all kinds of nonsense.
So jealous.
But College Football 25 reportedly had as many as 700,000 plus players in the first day of the early access period. That is insane. How many relationships were ruined from people sitting on their couch refusing to do anything relationship-oriented other than play this game, I wonder?
Hundreds of thousands. Because right now I'm contemplating as I hear that. So I'm someone that poured my heart and soul into NCAA football 14.
Me too.
For as long as I can.
Same.
And then one day, my Xbox died.
Oh.
And it was my 360 new gen where I'd be playing the game, it would just shut off automatically. And I looked at it, I go, it's time to put it out to the pasture.
It was time.
But just the fact that you said your boy's sending you screenshots of him recruiting kids. Right now in my head, I'm like, all right, how much does the Xbox cost? How much does the game cost?
Right.
I would wait. I'm not going to pay the upcharge to get the early one. But over 700,000 people playing at the same time online.
I know.
I'd love to hear it.
I know. Listen, at the time, it's funny when you told like the ending story of when you stopped gaming. Mine was I like got involved with this woman who's now my wife. Go figure.
Got 2 kids.
Yeah, got married, 2 kids, all fast, blink of an eye stuff. And I remember after my first kid was born, the one who said Jersey smells bad.
Yeah, I don't like him. I'm not recruiting him.
Yeah, he should not come to your school. I mentioned, hey, I'm here taking care of the babes. Maybe I should get back into gaming. And it was not met with love. It was met with aggression, actually. And so I thought, okay, well, that ship has sailed. And I was okay. I was at peace with that. But once this game came back out, first of all, I called a house meeting. It was a family meeting. I have 2 kids now. It was a family meeting. I sat them all at the table. I said, listen, let's get one thing straight, squared away. I will be getting this game. I will be coming back to gaming.
That's growth.
And you two, talking to my kids, I pointed, put me on the ISO, Greg, if you don't mind. I pointed them out. I went like this. I locked eyes. Me and you. I said, you two, you're coming with me on this journey. Welcome to gaming. And I looked at my wife, and I just gave that, anything to say? She didn't say anything. You know why? Because there's nothing to say. Daddy's back. So I'm going to get this game eventually and join all these 700,000 million people playing it. I just wasn't in the early access, and I dropped the ball. I should have signed up early for it. But I have no idea what PlayStation to buy now. I know nothing. I'm going to go to GameStop or Best Buy or something and just be like, help me help myself.
I'm going to reach out to my one boy that's really big into gaming. I'm asking which console I should get to get NCAA. And then I might go like the eBay route.
Oh,
dude! I just looked. Consoles are starting $500.
Oh my god!
Remember, like you know what I grew up on? The slim PS2,
and it was like $200, and you were like,
Maybe.
"Boy, this is expensive." But you know, you did it. It starts at 5.
I want to play one game. I don't even care to be online. I just want to build my road to glory. I want to build my dynasty. I want to dig Washington State out of the ashes.
Yeah, but you're going to play other games. Like if this is, you know what this is. College football 25 is a gateway drug. Like, you're going to buy the console. Yep. So am I, because we don't have them anymore. And then we're going to get this game, and we're going to get so into it and build our franchises. Yeah. Who'd you say? Washington State?
Yeah.
Gross. And I'll build Boston College.
Gross.
And then after 10 seasons of that, we win all the Natties and Heismans. We're going to be like, all right, what game's next? And then Madden's going to come out, and then we're back, baby. And that's the problem. And I can't wait. How about this? Jarren Duran named.
I got nothing to say. I know I'm going to burn $600. I know it's going to happen.
You're in a relationship too. I want you to know this will be a strain.
No, you know what's good with my girl? She's like, I don't care. Like she lets me watch anything.
Okay.
She's like, I just like to be in the same room as you in a non-creepy way.
So
just like we're chilling at night.
She wants to read her Kindle while you build Western
and she's cool with it.
State.
She's cool with it. Straight up.
All right. Not mine. Mine's gonna be a little.
Difference is you're married with kids. I got it out.
Yeah, true. Well, the kids are helping me because now I'm gonna teach them how to play.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're young enough. I can give them controllers, but not actually turn the controller on.
Yeah. They think they're doing something.
They'll fall for it every time.
I like that.
I have a plan. Clearly, you see, I have this planned out. Jarren Duran named the MLB All-Star Game MVP. He's the first Red Sox player to win it since 2008 when J.D. Drew did it. He hit the go-ahead dinger in the game for the AL. I was just fired up for him. I mean, obviously, all the representation for the Red Sox in the All-Star game was awesome. I saw Houck give up the homer to Ohtani. And I was like, hey, no shame in that.
Game is a game.
But I was happy for all the representation of the Sox, but I was specifically happy for Duran because, obviously, he is the hottest player in baseball. There's no doubt about it. But the way he's playing right now, I just don't know how anyone can argue that he's the best right now. He really is. It's so obvious to me watching him play.
I just loved for Duran to have that moment to win All-Star Game MVP. For a guy where like, hey, he's playing like the best player in baseball.
Right.
He's one of the best, does it all, 5-tool guy, played every single game in the first half for the Red Sox, top 6 in WAR, one of the best batting averages, RBI between him and Ceddanne Rafaela, the way that they're uplifting the entire lineup, of course, of Rafael Devers.
Of course.
But to have that moment and to go from the guy, because I started here right when he was called up, and there was the excitement, but there was the struggles in him every single at-bat to at-bat, game to game.
Mm-hmm.
The following season wasn't any better, and I thought he was done. I thought his career was done. I thought he was going to fizzle out of baseball, maybe not even be in the minors.
Sure.
To have this season, the demons he's battled through, the mental health difficulties he's dealt with and overcome. So it's
a great story.
Huge representation for the Sox and for Boston. Huge representation for anyone dealing with mental health issues.
Yeah.
It's just a feel-good story. And it's like, can he get any more likable? I mean, yes, but I don't think so because it's good dude. You see the vibes he brings to the team. How much he loves the game. You hear Alex Cora speak about him. When he got named an All-Star, he goes, you ask any player here, they want to raise their son to play the game the way Jarren Duran does.
That's crazy.
Nuts. Not Rafael Devers, and nothing against Rafi.
Sure.
Not Rafael Devers. Not Tyler O'Neill, right? Not Ceddanne Rafaela. Jarren Duran.
Well,
not Alex Cora saying about himself. Jarren Duran, the way he plays.
Wes asked Tim Crowley about Jarren Duran because I want to go to him. He actually wrote an article on NESN.com about the 1999 All-Star game that was here at Fenway. And really, so this is a 25 years later type article looking back. I don't know how in the world Tim got these people. So once we have them here, which we do, I'm going to ask, this is going to be my first question. Joe Torre, Cal Ripken Jr., Jeff Bagwell. He interviewed all these guys for this who are a part of this. So let's bring them in. Tim Crowley here with us from NESN.com. First of all, welcome to the program, my man. And that is my first question for you. How in the world did you nail all of these stars in this article to come on here and talk about the 99 All-Star game? And also, follow-up question, can you get them all again, but have them come on? Boston has entered the chat with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the invite first. Really appreciate it. This was a lot of just the baseball back channels and just trying to, you send a flyer out there and you hope people get back to. And we were lucky enough to have 3 Hall of Famers that had a pretty prominent impact on that game, able to do that. And I got to say, I'd say it's a non-zero chance to get them on here because there was I'll be honest, there was a little extra love for Boston from Joe Torre than I expected.
Oh,
let's do it. We got
to do it.
Yep.
Look at Tim coming through. Thank you, brother.
Man, I loved that you speak to Joe Torre, Cal Ripken, Jeff Bagwell. Some of the quotes, like Cal Ripken recounting playing at Fenway, and obviously Ted Williams was on her before the game. So the entire first pitch was delayed by 4 or 5 minutes because he was going to go throw first pitch before he could even get set.
Right.
Every player surrounded him and wanted to do it. This quote from Cal Ripken you got from him, Tim. It's cool because when you look out on the field, you realize we all have this stadium in common. Speaking about a century team, so they brought back all-time greats from MLB to be honored at Fenway. It felt like as a modern-day player at the time, you shared that with them. You just mentioned it. Joe Torre really has an infatuation and affection for Boston. What was it like not to just talk to these guys about a iconic All-Star game that was in 1999 because of the Home Run Derby, because of Pedro, but also what was it like you can tell the love, the appreciation they have for Fenway and Boston as a city?
I think that's something that we really have to emphasize too, and especially now because there's been so many renovations the last 20 years or so, even in recent years. Like, the green monster seats weren't on the monster back when this game was played, and there was that kind of historical aspect for it. And you're watching all these people come through, the red carpet in center field with Willie Mays and Hank Aaron, and you really appreciate that. When you kind of go back, and whether you're someone that lived it or you go back and you watch the broadcast, and that's exactly what Cal Ripken kind of talked about, was just understanding that for a ballpark that was built, at that time, coming up on 100 years ago, you feel that with them, and you're thinking, wow, well, it's incredible to think about how many legends are on this field right now, and all of them have played during this time period that this ballpark has stood. You hear people talk about Fenway as a cathedral of baseball all the time, and there's few moments that probably categorize that like it did on that night in 99.
Listen, we're not going to talk about your age, so I'll just give mine here. In 99, I was in high school, Tim, and I remember the Home Run Derby like it was yesterday. And listen, again, I'm not going to speak for you here, Tim. This is all me. This viewpoint does not reflect my man, but I personally, Travis Thomas, miss steroid baseball, and there was nothing better than watching a juice to the gills Mark McGwire hit absolute moonshots in Fenway, and then Ken Griffey Jr. won the thing.
His second to last Derby, too.
Yes, so, who talked about the Derby? Because that's all I cared about in 99, my friend. That was awesome. It's my favorite Derby to this day, and I wasn't even here yet.
I mean, there's so much to like about it, right? Like, you have the old school style with the vests that both teams had on, the vest style jerseys, which I know Cleveland brought them back a few years ago, but you can't beat the Boston ones. There's clips of Lansdowne Street totally completely flooded with people waiting outside, trying to hope that a couple balls end up over the net. And you mentioned it, Travis, some of the power that was there. Obviously, this is peak of McGwire and Sosa. This is right after the 98 race. And then you have Ken Griffey Jr., in classic style, the hat backwards and just floating balls into the bleachers at Fenway, wins another Derby. The star power totally is what you want that week. And we talked about it the other night. It was a cool Derby watching the other night. Teoscar Hernandez wins, but you don't have that slugging star power anymore as much as you did back then. And having McGwire and guys like that going head-to-head in that style race, I understand how you can kick off a festivity better than having that night before the game.
Yeah, I love you bring up. I mean, I'm a lover for the juiced ball era.
Yes.
Basically the juiced steroid era of baseball.
Hell yeah.
What I love is, obviously a big piece of this was your recount asking them about Pedro, whether managing him, whether hitting against him, because 5 of the first 6 outs that he recorded in the All-Star game, getting the start, struck out Barry Larkin, Larry Walker, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Jeff Bagwell. 3 of those are Hall of Famers. The other 2, Sosa and McGwire, should be, but they did steroids. What was it like talking to Jeff Bagwell about facing Pedro as the pitcher?
Yeah, that was one of the favorite stories I think that came out of this series of interviews. As he talks about and kind of watching back on the broadcast, you see the first pitch. It's pretty outside, but Pedro gets the strike call, and I remember him kind of talking about, all right, if this is the calls he's getting, I don't know what you want me to do. And he recalled looking into the dugout and kind of having that look to Joe Torre, I don't know what you want me to do here. And that obviously ends the inning, gets a 3-2 changeup he swings through. Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate, another great star in that game, throws out Matt Williams trying to steal. So much going on in that inning. But that was something that really stood out with Bagwell. He's like, look, man, if this is the strike calls that I'm getting when I'm not even trying to hit these pitches and I'm taking a pitch, I don't know what you expect me to do here. That's exactly what that era of Pedro was. This was, obviously a generational talent that came to Boston earlier in that decade. And he was still really good when he ended his career here. He ended his tenure in Boston, won a World Series here, was great in his last World Series start. But that's the Pedro I think people remember is 96, 97, curveball, and doing this against top talent in some of the brightest lights.
Yeah, at the peak of his powers, Pedro Martinez, 3 Cy Young winners in 4 years. Woo. I think when you watch him as good as he was, dominant as can be of anyone I've seen on the mound, and a smaller stature guy. But Tim, now I have to ask, because you're recounting exact moments in the game. When were you born? What year?
2001.
See, Tim, I wasn't going to put your business in the street. George going to put it all in the street.
But now we know Tim, get to talk to him in the newsroom. I said to you, Trav, when I said we're having Tim on the show, I go, Tim loves ball.
He does.
Tim knows his sports.
He does.
But baseball is different. So for you, man, as someone that was born 2 years after, how did you learn about this 99 All-Star game, and how are you able to now regurgitate the info from it like you watched it live?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I feel like I had to live up to a resume. I was in a trio of friends in college that were called the history buffs when it came to baseball. Uh-oh. So I certainly had to live up to that. But there's a lot of going back and just kind of, rewatching the broadcast that, it's always cool to go back and watch Joe Buck do his thing on Fox and kind of the earlier days of that network. But it's a lot of just kind of doing your research and, going back. And if you love, kind of taking a dive into history. And I mean, I don't know if there's any eras that are more fun to go into than so much that was going on for baseball. And people talk about it. And Travis, I'm sure you're kind of the same way. It's like, yeah, I know people kind of have the issue with the steroid era, but it made baseball fun. That seems to be kind of the narrative that people come to when you go back and you look at the late 90s. Yeah,
no doubt, Tim. By the way, I'm just so impressed with you, man. As someone who was there and was holding it down for the 99 and the 2000, you do a great job for a young whippersnapper. And, listen, this article really, I think you did a great job of bringing everyone together in terms of Red Sox, Yankees legends, of course. Even though the rivalry's there, everyone came together in this article also to reflect on and talk about the honoring of Ted Williams during this All-Star festivities, if you will. Can you speak on that as well, Tim?
Yeah, I think that's the moment that it's hard to say that one stands out over another because there was so much greatness that happened at Fenway that week. But the Ted Williams thing was special, and what it took to get him there. There's stories about the Red Sox trying to make sure they could do everything they could to get him back to Fenway and get the ovation and get everything that he deserved for, at that time, probably the icon of the franchise, like the face of the franchise historically, like probably without too much of a doubt at that period of time. And again, you just see the emotion in the crowd and you talk to the people that were there, whether it's people in the stand, people on the field. And for Cal Ripken, that was something he talked about. It was just it was like a perfect entrance to have him with so many legends in front of him end up making the entrance they did. And it helped out. Even Derek Jeter last night or during the All-Star broadcast talked about, that wasn't a plain thing for all these players to come surround him. They were going to stay on the foul lines and let him do his thing and throw out the first pitch. But that's the mutual respect that Ted Williams commanded. It brought everyone together. And one of the stories that was told by multiple people in this article was how he really had an affection for Tony Gwynn and the font of hitting that he was. And they talked about it, and they had a couple of jokes while they were out there, and multiple people heard that conversation. That's kind of what Ted Williams was. He loved hitting. He loved talking hitting, and he was going to do that with whoever he could find that was that matched that level for him. So that's a moment that when you look around Fenway now, and I know maybe people don't think about it the same now because there have been 4 championships, which is something that Red Sox Nation was just so patient for at that era. That's still important to remember even after all the winning that's gone on to that park since then.
Touche. Even just hearing you talk about Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn is just like, man, R.I.P. to both of those GOATs. I'll let you go with this. I'm sure you heard Georgia and I talking about Jarren Duran and his all-star performance winning the MVP. I'll just, for you to go here, I'll let you close it out. Your thoughts on his game and the MVP, and also just how he looks right now. I mean, Georgia and I both said it. We feel like he's the best player in baseball right now.
One of the best.
I think he's the best.
One of the best.
I think he's the best.
He certainly had a case for best first half on the Red Sox. Like that's a no question about it. It's just the journey, right? And you think about that. There's an edit going around on social media that starts with the play a couple of years ago when the fly ball lands over his head on the 28-5 game against the Blue Jays, and it felt like rock bottom for a player with so much talent. And now look where he is now. Someone that wasn't getting respected in the fan vote, finished outside the top 20 in phase 1, gets in, in a later vote, and immediately takes over this inning he enters the game. He came in as a defensive replacement in the top half and goes yard in the bottom half of the inning. Like, that's what Jarren Duran does. He is the definition of a catalyst. He's the definition of a spark plug. The Red Sox have seen that really in this wave since, when he came back up last year. And you hoped after the injury ended his season at Yankee Stadium a year ago that he was going to be able to replicate that. He's doing it on a daily basis, and he's been such an engine starter for this Red Sox team that has relied on a youth movement. And so to see him kind of have that moment last night, and George, you kind of mentioned it earlier, just someone who's gone through so many of the mental health struggles and been so open about it and been an inspiration to so many people, going through that. It's a perfect moment, and that's what you hope All-Star games can be, and that's exactly what Jarren Duran was last night. He played like an All-Star and obviously lived up to that.
There he is, Tim Crowley. Check out his article on NESN.com about the 99 MLB All-Star Game at Fenway 25 years later. We appreciate you, my man. We'll have you back soon. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. And Travis, looking forward to that Boston College dynasty.
Ah, yeah, that's my guy right there, baby. He knows I'm about to have Chestnut Hill popping, baby.
And
let's
lose
go.
to Washington State in the Natty.
Oh, please, Washington State.
Hey,
Washington
Power
Schmate.
Prestige.
Thanks, Tim.
Pedro, how 1999 MLB All-Star Game dazzled Fenway Park.
There it is.
Give that a Google. Just do Power Prestige. Prestige.
Yep.
Pedro, that's how you could spell it and type it better than I can say it. That'll pop up under Google search engines and NESN.
All right, now let's switch gears. Let me ask you this. Bill Belichick is on Inside the NFL on the CW. Not when it was good on like Showtime and HBO. The CW now.
Yeah,
it stinks.
Yeah.
But here's a question. Is Bill Belichick a hypocrite for going and getting a job in the media? I mean, like, this guy hated the media. The media was public enemy numero uno for Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And now he's part of it.
Yeah.
Is he a hypocrite?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm a reporter that's been in those locker rooms where you have an hour of the day open for locker room availability. And you walk in and no one's available. Players. They don't come out until it's about to end. And it is him where a player doesn't speak to the media without Bill Belichick knowing. Bill Belichick in press conferences showing zero accountability, turning the mics away. Just disrespectful. Now, he is a football historian. He does Inside the NFL with Julian Edelman, Brandon Marshall, whoever it may be. It's all football guys. He's done it on the NFL 100, been there with Rich Eisen, and it's fascinating to hear him tell stories. But is he going to be critical? They're talking about Inside the NFL. That is not a recount of the past. That is you talking about the NFL this past week. Are you going to be critical of coaches and players? Are you going to call them out when they're wrong? Are you going to say what you would do differently? Also, are you going to criticize roster construction or coaching decisions made in 2024 when you drove that franchise and the Patriots into the ground? It's hypocritical for him to do it because, like you said, how much he hated them. And you don't have to be friends with the media. But, like, damn it, just be a decent human being. People have jobs to do. They have questions to ask you. You're just, well, I just covered it there. And so,
right.
No, man. Like, so he'll probably be fine at it. It'll be cool to watch. But, yeah, I see this, and I was like, oh, that's what he's doing? All right.
Okay.
He's getting a paycheck.
I don't think he's a hypocrite. Here's why. This isn't real media, dog. Like, look. You're Bill Belichick. You're the greatest coach ever. You could have went to CBS. You could have went to Fox. You could have went to ESPN. Hell, you could have stayed home. Come on here on Nesson with us and chop it up, Bill. But these are all real media platforms that I'm telling you. That's why he's not a hypocrite. He went to the CW, bro. Like, no one watches that. No one's gonna care what he's talking about. Now, here's where we agree. It was a cash grab. And you know, Bill right now, I mean, he needs a little extra cash for entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
He's getting that severance from Robert Kraft. And then he's getting a little side money from Inside the NFL.
He needs to entertain right now. Bill in his personal life needs some entertainment money. And that's what this is. He went to the CW. Let's just all relax.
It's going to be an echo chamber on there. They're not going to question what he says.
No, of course not.
And it is. He's not actually reporting. He's not in the booth. He's not traveling. It's once a week. Go to the New York City studio,
that's
wherever
what I'm saying.
it is.
I watched the downfall of the show. I grew up watching Inside the NFL.
Fantastic.
HBO, and then Showtime did a great job.
Yeah.
And the CW, I tried to watch it for 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, and it was awful. Okay, I was out. Thanks. Now, I'll ask you this before we move on. Do you believe that Bill will coach again? Because Tom Pelissero is basically putting out there and saying that, quote, he's fully invested in wanting to coach again. He wants to pursue the all-time wins record. Those are things that matter a lot to Bill Belichick, and I believe that for every fiber of my being that this guy, I think he wanted to coach this past season, which is why he was obviously interviewing for it, or this past hiring cycle, I should say.
Yeah.
So do you believe that he will coach again?
It's hard to see. Because I think how it ended in New England could still draft defensive talent, right? Offensively, couldn't get a good pick if his life depended on it. But it's more of what his ego and his insecurities did to him. Building out coaching staffs. Josh McDaniels leaves. Why does he hire Matt Patricia and Joe Judge? Because they've coached for him before. He knows they're good soldiers. And he felt like they would know the system at least enough that they can coach it. Shocker, it was a failure. But why does he bring back Bill O'Brien? Right. Someone he can trust, but didn't want to give him free reign on picking his coaching staff outside of his assistant tight ends coach. You know how much of a joke that is? You still have to work with the running backs coach who's converted from the defensive side. Troy Brown, who all-time great Patriot, is the first slot receiver in Patriots history, like significant slot receiver, but not a good wide receivers coach. None of their talent developed. In fact, they would even get worse, you can say, arguably, for some of the picks. It's all about being a great head coach. You have to be current and ahead of the game, which Belichick always was until 2020, 2021. Then it passed him by. You have to be a good delegator. You have to be good at hiring, building out your staff, trusting the people around you. He wouldn't do that. You have to be open to criticism and a diversity of opinions. He doesn't want any of that. So a team will have to seriously vet him, figure out what his staff is, who he's bringing on, why. Also, do you want control in the front office, or we're going to hire a football guy that makes those decisions?
Yeah.
Look at your drafts. When's the last time you guys re-signed a first-round pick? Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't care about the extensions Eliot Wolf gave out. They'd have to give him that. And it's, look at the potential jobs out there. Eberflus, hot seat. You're not going to give Caleb Williams and that young offense to Bill Belichick. Even look at the Giants that will go into a rebuild. He's old, 73 years old. This is a team, when they make a coaching hire, they don't want to be in the same spot in 3 years. Belichick at 73 years old, 14 total wins, playoffs and regular season from the all-time record away. That could take 2 or 3 seasons. And once he gets it, he goes. And then what are you doing? You're in the reset. And again, he doesn't hire new coaches. Do you trust Matt Patricia to be a head coach?
Hell no.
Do you trust Josh McDaniels to be a head coach?
Man, don't make me cuss.
Do you trust Joe Judge to be a head coach?
You know my answer.
Not no, but hell no.
Right.
That's who his top assistants are going to be.
Gross.
What's your succession plan when you bring him in, runs the franchise down, and then leaves in 3 years? So I do not see him becoming a head coach in the NFL ever again.
You all hear that passion in George's voice. Let me hear yours. 617-790-0928 on this matter or any matter here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Hit us up. We want to hear from you. You can also email us, thechat@nesson.com. Now, I do believe Bill will be back coaching. In fact, I know George doesn't believe it, but I forced him to play matchmaker with me for Bill Belichick as it pertains for teams that he could possibly coach for and pass Shula. So we check that out because we did that. Check that out on the next episode of Foxborough Rush that you can get, obviously, wherever you get all your podcasts, but on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. And make sure to follow us on all your social media accounts as well for all of our best content. Let's keep this football party rocking because, Brandon Aiyuk from the 49ers has officially requested a trade after he and the 49ers have failed to reach a contract extension. Now, the Niners have said publicly all along they have no intention of trading this guy. We're trying to win a Super Bowl here. But Brandon Aiyuk is saying, no, I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. Could be a malcontent. I mean, my question to you, because Lord knows the Patriots need a number one wide receiver as much as we need sunlight. Do you believe that the Patriots could get involved here in the Brandon Aiyuk sweepstakes, and what would it cost to win said sweepstakes?
I think they need to get re-involved. They need to call the 49ers again because now that he wants to get out, that actually drives his price down.
Right.
I think of the A.J. Brown trade. 18th overall pick and the 101st pick to get A.J. Brown from the Titans to Philly.
And he got paid.
But that came out of nowhere.
Right.
It was just the Titans saying, we're not paying him. It wasn't A.J. Brown saying, get me out of here. I'm not going to play.
Right.
So 49ers need to call Brandon Ayuk's bluff. And if he seriously will not play and take all those fines, New England needs to call him. Now, would I give up the next first-round pick they have? No, because that could be a top 5 pick. Okay. Is a roster still with a ton of needs?
Okay.
Maybe can you go next year second and a first down the road?
Okay.
Can you start combining later round picks? Because at the end of the day, Brandon Aiyuk, and we can say the needs of this offense, Brandon Aiyuk is a sure thing. He's a pro. He is not a prospect. And the Patriots need a dynamic wide receiver one. So I would like to find out what the price is to get him to New England, but then also is what's the price to get him to play? Because the 49ers, it's been floated out around there. They're offering around $26 million a year to get him. That would put him just ahead of a Devontae Smith, just below a Cooper Kupp. But top 5 now, that's likely how he wants to get paid. That is an AAV of $29 to $30 million. Now, what's going to be the guaranteed money? What's going to be the life of the contract? If you give him $30.5 million AAV, $30.5 million a year over the life of a contract, that'd make him the 3rd highest annual salary in the NFL right now. Now, let's go with the 4-year deal worth up to $122 million. That would be the 3rd highest total value of a receiver contract right now. But you could have an opt-out in that 4th year, so it's a dummy year. So it's really like 3 years, $91.5 million is what you'd owe. Then, what's the guaranteed money? Because to me, that's what I pay attention to. Jalen Waddle getting $76 million guaranteed is what murks the water.
Yeah.
I would go 4-year deal, $122 million total value, $70 million guaranteed if he gets his foot in the door and if you get him to New England. Here's your guaranteed money. Here's your contract for the next 3 years. And Brandon Aiyuk, when you're young, you can get paid again, or we'll pay you again if it pans out and both parties are happy.
Okay.
So they can put the structure there. But the key for the Patriots, if they really want Brandon Aiyuk, and you could say that's a lot of money, they have to pay the tax of what's your quarterback, what's your offensive coordinator, and they have the cap space.
Yeah.
But if it gets into a bidding war and you wait and you let him hit free agency, 122 becomes 130.
Absolutely.
70 million becomes 80, maybe 82.
Yeah.
4 years becomes 5, and then the number goes up. You only have a real shot because it's not sexy to play in New England anymore. You could say, hey, you're coming to Boston. Yeah, he flies into Logan. Then you're driving him an hour south down Route 1 and going, here's Foxborough Stadium. Here's really bad facilities. Here's Walpole. That's where you're going to live. He's going to be like, what the hell is this? How far are you from the seaport? So that's a reality the Patriots face. But you know what? You know what they're missing? A dynamic number one receiver. But you know what they have? A rookie quarterback under 4 to 5 years of team control. So you give him this 4-year deal, $122 million, 30.5 AAV, 70 to 80 million guaranteed. By the time you're done paying him, that's when you have to pay the quarterback. This is a 3-year plan for this franchise to be back. This is how roster construction works.
I like it.
And you hope you can develop to draft another receiver to take his place on a rookie scale. And Jalen Polk and Javon Baker continue to develop to actually be wide receiver 2s.
Okay, I love your plan. I'm not going to pick apart anything there. The only thing I would caution you with is I don't believe the price is going to be as low as you think it is because he's forcing his way out. In fact, I know for a fact of a team that will likely move heaven and earth to try and get him, and that's the Washington Commanders. And listen, his old college teammate and his BFF is a quarterback on that team in Jaden Daniels. And I just could see a world where the Commanders, you could maybe be in a bidding war already. I know you said if he hits the market, that's where the bidding war is in terms of free agency in his contract. I think you could be there already because if the Patriots call and say, look, we'll give you this season's or next draft's second round and then a future one, and then Washington says, we'll give you the one for this draft now, well, you're in a bidding war and you're probably going to lose. So that's the only thing I would caution you is that the price may not be as low as you think.
I do think he should get Nico Collins money. 50 million guaranteed. He's unproven as a wide receiver one. But from the sounds of it, he wants, and this is what the guys do, it's the market resets, top 3, top 5 money.
That's what happens. All right, let's talk college football 25 because we started the show talking it, and I want to end the show talking it. Now, Twitter has been ablaze. All the people, I gave you the numbers to start the show, 700,000 plus players in the first day of early access period. So, of course, they've all gone to Twitter and talked about how great this game is. Here's one here from @PicksWise. Everyone at work today after staying up all night to play college football 25, just falling asleep right on their feet.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah, me too.
I should get that PS5 or Xbox.
I'm also going to have a little bit of back issues from sleeping on the couch because I'm in the doghouse. How about Cooper, who tweets, just threw a pick 6 first play, and he broke all his equipment up.
Yeah, that'll be me too. And then I'm going to be in the doghouse too.
True story. I watched a draft with a Dallas Cowboy friend of mine, which was my first mistake. And I forget who they took that year, but he was so mad. He threw his remote at the TV and went straight through it. I've never seen anything like it to this day. How about this one? The dad suiting up to play college football 25 after not playing a video game for 10 plus years. Absolutely me. Absolutely. Like I feel attacked. But I'll be ready to go when it's time. I didn't get the early one, but I'll be ready when it drops.
They just look funny as hell in the modern uniforms.
They're not filling them out anymore.
At all.
It's a lot of slack.
It's a good thing they played when they played.
All right, so if we're talking all this, we might as well talk video game Mount Rushmore. Well, let's do it then. Now, give me your top video games of all time.
And we're going to do, you pick a game, you can't pick it. So we're doing like a Mount Rushmore
like a draft. All right.
This one is timeless to me. Okay. I grew up playing it on Nintendo 64, 6, 7, 8 years old.
I already know where you're going.
Spent so much time on it. And you know what? I still played it throughout college.
Yeah.
With a little bit more of extracurriculars involved.
Drunk.
Still play it now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With a couple cold brewskis
I know where you're going.
and adult drinks. The best game of all time, Mario Kart.
Yeah, I knew it.
Timeless.
Rainbow Road, when you're a little bit buzzed, it's a different level.
No matter, I'm on bachelor parties now, and we throw up Mario Kart. We stop what we're doing. We don't care about the bars. We don't care about the lake. We don't care about anything. Everyone locks in, gets their drinks, and plays Mario Kart. Loser gets bumped off.
Who do you pick? I pick Bowser every time.
I go with Donkey Kong.
Oh, I respect that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you took my number one pick. I respect it.
Damn right.
I also grew up on Nintendo 64, so I'll go the next best thing.
No.
GoldenEye. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Yeah, Bond. James Bond.
So when I'm thinking through these games, I'm just thinking about the amount of time I've dedicated.
Yeah.
And this is where it's going to get tough because you're going to take a good one from me.
Okay.
I have to go GTA.
I respect that.
My second pick.
I was
Every
out
time
of
it comes
gaming by
out,
then.
Oh, dude,
I was gone.
The cheat codes, damn, I didn't get good value on my pick. The cheat codes, get unlimited ammo, just murk it up all day long. The amount of time killed playing GTA, and every single one that comes, I hope we get GTA 6 soon.
Yeah.
I love Grand Theft Auto.
You did get good value because I respect the brand of GTA. I was just out of the game by the time, so I don't have the same feeling. Look, everyone knows we love the college football game, so we're just going to go ahead and draft that here. I mean, I don't care what year. We could go to new one. We can go old school. Doesn't matter. You got to get college football involved.
So you're going with the franchise as a whole.
Of course. Of course. You got to.
I have my list of games. Dude, you leave a lot off. This is what I'm thinking now. Because I'm not even in the realm of sports video games yet. But again, longevity. What I grew up playing on Xbox, took forever to beat the whole story mode. Now it's modern day, hop online with your boys and just get dropped into a war room.
Zelda?
Call of Duty.
Oh.
Whole thing. Give me the whole thing.
I like that.
Dude,
All right.
you start out in World War II, now modern warfare.
Yeah.
The best.
All right, so I guess technically our Mount Rushmore is done, but we can definitely do some honorable mentions.
What do you mean? I only picked 3.
All right.
Wait,
fair
Mount
enough.
Rushmore, there's 4 guys.
I didn't know if this was a dual thing.
There
All right, fair
are
enough.
4. There are 4 people on Mount
All right,
Rushmore.
so
You know
I
that?
did-
Can you name them?
I did
can't.
GoldenEye, college football. I would like Mario Kart, but it's not available to me. I'll go Madden. Madden franchise.
Good job. Good job.
I mean, you got to have Madden, right?
This is my last pick.
That's your last pick. It's tough.
I'm going with the evolution of the game. I'm going with the whole storyline here. Jack and Daxter and Jack 2. PS2 game here.
All right.
Not common.
Yeah.
Such a good story mode.
Yeah, I just remember the commercial because they used to say it all funny. Jack and Daxter. And I
Yeah.
used to get hyped.
Jack never spoke. It was such a good game. I left so many good ones off.
Yeah, like I thought for sure you were gonna go Midnight Club Dub Edition,
Yeah.
which is also on my list. I got a long honorable mention list.
Dude, FIFA, I didn't pick. 2K, NBA 2K.
Ah,
Yeah.
bro, FIFA, bro.
Oh, make your pick.
All right, I got one more pick. You know what? I'll go Midnight Club Dub Edition. It was
Really?
so great. Yeah, dude. That was such a great game.
I had my 2 cars. One was, you got to go with it. It's on the cover, the blacked out
Of
Chrysler
course.
300 big
Same.
rims. And then I would go, my go-to was the 64 Impala. Come on.
We picked the same win.
I would green that out, put flames on the front,
Ooh.
gold rims,
Okay,
gold
that's
trim,
ugly,
everything.
but I respect that.
No,
I
it looked
respect-
good. It looked good. Trust me. Purple tint on the windows. It looked good.
That's tough.
Trust me.
That's
it looks
colorful.
good. Dude, I'll pimp out the Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Hard.
Dude,
that
the
game was
Lambos-
hard, bro.
yeah.
Even the soundtrack on the game was tough.
Dude, Twista, Fabulous.
Oh!
All like the amount of, I would just put that game on, let the soundtrack go, and like be working.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
That
Man, we're
game's
the
timeless.
same. We are so immature. It's incredible.
Super Smash Bros. Didn't get a pick.
Okay, so let's go honorable mentions. I got a ton. Mike Tyson Punch Out,
Yep.
Tecmo Bowl,
Yep.
Contra, Knockout Kings, which was a boxing game, Blades of Glory, which was hockey, and then Double Dribble.
I go Super Smash Bros. In the group chat with my boys earlier, someone dropped Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I didn't play that.
Oh man,
what was that?
You build
what it sounds like?
you build an amusement park and you
Oh.
build the park, like the rides.
Oh, I would play that.
Sims, everyone.
Sims, I played that.
That's technically a video game.
Yep. I played that.
But to me, the leave off my list: FIFA, 2K,
Yes.
NFL Street Volume 2,
Oh,
NBA Street.
all
Yeah.
the Street series.
Yep.
Man, we could do a whole podcast on this. But for all of our best content of the day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. For Travis Thomas, George Balekji here inside the PNC Bank studio, we enjoy you. We thank you for tuning in to Boston Has Entered the Chat. Until next time, when we enter it again, peace.
Later.